Against the Dogs and against the clock.
Oh, it's 50, is it?
No, it's not.
No.
Against the Dogs and against the
Oh,
clock.
it's 50, is it?
No, it's not.
No. Oh, it's 50, is it?
No, it's not.
No.
And in those moments, we know that we're going to get our answer from Reese's Edge.
Just become a fan in those situations, Jerry.
Ray Chamberlain, welcome.
Good evening, gents. I'm not lying. I was watching that from the couch myself and went, oh, I'm cooked on this one. They're coming at me.
Righto, the 4 degrees of stand, which brings us to this moment. So just step us through, because this time of year is all about knowing this is right, this is the level, this is actually wrong, so don't get sidetracked.
Yeah, beautiful. So the first one we're going to look at is from the game up in Sydney, which we have an example with Toby Green and Ginnivan, and a 50-metre penalty is correctly awarded. So in this instance, Ginnivan hits up at the football, will take the mark, and Toby can see where he marks it, and we'll roll it through and show you. There's 2 things that are really important with this one. First of all, he's clearly 2 metres ahead of the mark. There's no reason for him to... He's not trailing with momentum up and you give him a chance to come back. And the other bit is Ginnivan's back on his line of kick. He hasn't rolled off. There's no reason to encroach. Oh, he played on ump. So that's an automatic 50.
Toby knew.
No argument there. We were at this game and this one confused us at the time. So I don't know the answer, but tell me why this was a 50-metre paid against Artie Jones.
Yeah, so we go to the Gabba and it's a different one. So in this instance, this is an incorrect decision. So our umpire needed to run harder and faster and get out and align with where that ball was marked so that it's an easier decision to make when you're in line with the ball.
So he would have thought he went over the...
Absolutely. And particularly because he's in on the angle, Gary, on the 45, it gives you this sort of an optical illusion that you've encroached the mark. He didn't. That's an incorrect decision.
Yep, that's fair too. Lockie Schultz was another one that we looked at and went, what's going on here?
So this one's a little different. So it's a bit line ballish, but you'll see with Schultz here, he is never attempting to get to where the mark is. He's in front of where the mark is when the player marks the football, and he's also on the 45 and he just plants his feet. When you're not trailing the oppo in, if you don't get right to the mark, you run the risk because the umpires are going to give you no shade on that. If you've encroached and you don't trail him with momentum behind in the contest, they'll just go bang.
Turn around and get out.
Yeah, correct. You've got to exit. You've got to exit.
And Lockie Schultz should have exited.
Yeah, so you'll see if we roll it back, if we have the chance, the other Collingwood player who's actually trailing up can assume the mark. So
if Schultz turned around and ran straight out, he'd be
no
fine.
dramas.
Yep.
Absolutely no dramas. He's in the protected area. He has to exit. He's allowed to exit, and his teammate can assume
So if you're
the mark.
coming in at right angles, you've got to get to the absolute spot.
Correct. If you encroach by 2 metres, they'll bang you for 50 every time.
All right, and that brings us to the climax of the Lions and the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and so I want to work through this for a couple of reasons, Jude. So, more than one thing can be true. I know that we sort of had a little bit of ping-pong and I'd like to work through it. So, in this instance, our umpire gets to the right decision. And an umpire has 3 things they can do here. We'll work through this first, though. So you'll see that, obviously, Zorko took the ball, and we're going to see where the mark is. Now, technically, Dane's got to go back on his line of kick, OK? Now, if he plays on in a direction anywhere other, it's play on. So then there's a question, Jared, is it momentum? Does he try to run around because he's going fast to win the game because they're trailing? And so one of the interesting things here is Fraser also does cut him off at the pass because he thinks Zorko's played on. Now, our umpire does get to play on. It takes him 3 seconds to get there. Ideally, as soon as Zorko marks that ball and drives off, you call play on immediately. The second option that an umpire, Jared, has in this set of circumstances, if it gets a bit muddled, the umpire has the opportunity to blow time on, stop the game, get Fraser on the mark. Dane, come around, please. Time back off. Away we go. What we don't ever want there is 50 metres, and I'll explain why. If you say to Fraser, you must stand there and just let him roll through, and he's not on his line of kick, Dane's got an unfair advantage, and we're not asking the player on the mark, although they've got cement boots, to be a matador. Oh, ole, off you go. You just go through the corridor and square the game up. So Dane's or... No, well, so in a way they are, aren't they?
Are you sure of that?
Well, no, in this instance, I'm saying I'm absolutely sure.
There's no obligation of Fraser to do what we've been drilled all summer to do and stand the mark.
I led with there are two things can be true. You can have played on, which I believe Dane Zorko has done.
Would he have heard the play
mark.
on though, Fraser, or has he made that decision?
I think he's probably anticipated.
I think he has as well, which is fair enough, but it's counter to what we're told. We're told the mark's taken, he has to stand.
He does. Was he called to stand?
Was he called play on?
Neither, which is what I said at the start, right? Ideally, our umpire immediately calls play on and doesn't take 3 seconds to get through it. But what I will say this, Gary, it is opening round. This one sits in the margins. There's a lot happening there.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And he clunked his way through and got to the right result.
And the state of the game suggested that you're on the side of not calling it, because it would have been the biggest call of the round.
And if you have to make the biggest call of the round, you have to make the biggest call of the round. But I do think that we want the players to get the outcome of the game.
I feel like we got our best suite of ruck examples from the Giants-Hawthorn game when the second-string rucks were in.
Absolutely, and that's going to send an antenna for the umpires. The first one that we're going to look at is Chol and Riccardi, and a correct free kick is paid here. So this is Swanee's poster-child example of why the line is there. So you'll see here that Riccardi, and we'll roll through it again, Riccardi crosses that centre line. It's a dead straight throw up. It's not an errant throw. He's crossed into Chol's area. Yep. It's your classic dirty dancing Patrick Swayze. This is my dance space, Jared. This is yours. And you're not permitted to cross the line and jump from that side. Correct free kick.
Chol's first one?
Yeah, so this one here's been a free kick for 7 years. Okay. And so what will happen is Chol jumps from his side of the line, which is fine. But then he mistimes it, he blocks Riccardi as a result, and he doesn't tap the ball. So that's a clear free kick to Riccardi for a block.
All right, and then a curious Chol.
Yeah, so this one is really reminiscent of when Swanee was in here talking about Pitnet and DeConing. So they both go at it, they both stay on their side, they're both going to leap from their side, and Chol slips his oppo, who jumps from the right side, doesn't interfere with him at all, makes no contact with him. And yeah, he's 1 foot over the line, but they don't want them paying a free kick in that instance. He didn't cross the line and prevent the GWS ruckman from jumping. He didn't interfere with him at all.
Yep.
And so the sole objective of Chol is to contest the football. He hasn't interfered with his opponent. And in line with the Pitnet example that Swanee said they want play on, our umpire called play on.
There was a nice little moment where Rowan Marshall, who knows the rules inside out and backwards, is telling the umpire, come on, hurry up, because they haven't got a ruckman here and I can go.
Absolutely, and this is one of the new rules, and thankfully our umpire knows it too. So the umpire are given an instruction when they get the nomination, they go Collingwood ruckman, Collingwood ruckman. They've got to ask them twice. If no one nominates, they go no Collingwood ruckman and throw it up. So, yep, Rowan Marshall was all over it. So was Nick Foot.
Maynard, was he...
You're in the stands for this.
I'll tell you what, there was a bit of chat in the stands, Jared. They went nuts.
What was the consensus? I know what the consensus
Yeah, well, there was a lot of black and white around me, Gary. I was very nervous for a couple of hours there, but no. So this is an example where it's not gone 15, and so the umpire's called play on. So a couple of things to think about here. The first one is it's not a mark, so therefore it's not an automatic prior opportunity. You know, when you play on from a mark, it's deemed you've had prior opportunity. That's not the case here. And so you go, well, OK, he's had plenty of time, though. If that was general play and you picked it up and you had that amount of time, that would be considered balanced and steady, a prior opportunity.
What about the fact he should have known it was going to be play on?
So I'm going to ask you a question, if you don't mind.
Please.
So in this instance here, much like if it's touched from downfield and they don't know and the umpires are on balling it up, I'm with you. Do you think he knew?
100%.
Yeah, so you'd be happy with holding the ball?
Yep.
The umpiring...
Well, I'd be happy to know that he would have known it wasn't a mark.
Yeah, okay.
He stopped. Then you can argue semantics on prior opportunity, all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
But he would have known that wasn't a mark.
I think, well, I know what the umpires are instructed in a circumstance like that, much like with touched. If you're adamant, so let's say Maynard's going, it's a mark, and he's blueing with you, and then he gets tackled, you're well within your rights to pay holding the ball. But if you genuinely believe he's not clear, they'd prefer to err on not penalising.
So a bit of B-grade acting can actually get you...
Oh, it'll get you a long way in this game.
So I just want to say there were 2 moments late in your game, Gaz, where the last possession out of bounds paid its way, and this is where it enhances the game. Game on the line, it's a frenzy. You used to be able to get some sort of reprieve here, but there's no reprieve to be had anymore. It's going to cost you possession of the footy. So that happens to Neil, and then it happens to Selwood here as well. Is pop it over. Normally, get a throw. You lose the foot. This is going to serve the game so well, and those were the moments when it started to get really hot.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good throughout the round.
And the players know. You see Ashcroft chases after the ball because he's going, if I don't touch that, it's going to be a free kick to the oppo. They know.